Hey everyone, this is Hope from the November system. I wanted to come on today to let you guys know my 2 cents about a question that has been asked me in my comments from a previous video. So, if you were here from last week's video about the Barbie movie, welcome back. Good to see you again, because I was there before as well. But anyways, this video is going to be about coming out, especially to parents as a system, but also just in general. The first thing I want to say about this that I think is so much more important than literally anything else in this video is keep yourself safe. Some people are not going to be accepting or potentially just not even like tolerating of mental health issues and honestly anything in general. People are trying to fight everything these days, and it's weird. It's politics, it's weird, and it sucks for a lot of people. So just keep yourself safe. Tell people you trust. Tell people that you know aren't going to like hurt you for anything. And I mean, that sounds crazy to be like hurt for something you literally can't control, or something that's literally affecting you badly. But people do weird things. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's wild out here, bruh. But basically, just be careful about what's going on. Make sure that you do have a support system to fall back on in case something goes wrong with telling someone. But all that disclaimer aside, let's get into, first of all, my story of how I told my family and my friends and things like that, and also just what goes on when you tell people. So basically what happened for me is I was trying really hard to get a professional in on this because I didn't feel like I had a good professional, I didn't feel like I had a good therapist a few years ago, and it wasn't working out between us. So I moved on to another therapist, and then that's kind of around the time I was doing the most research on DID. I had recently met my ex-boyfriend who also has DID, and I was trying to learn about DID for them, and in the process I was like, what? This is not normal. Like, this is not what everyone does. And so I started doing more research, both to help them and also to kind of figure it out for myself. But for the most part, I did most of the research on my own and presented why I thought that this was going on to multiple professionals, at which point they asked me their own questions and did evaluations and such, and all 4 of those professionals came up with the same conclusion. All 5 of those professionals came up with the same conclusion. I officially have 2 diagnoses, but because some of those were therapists. After I was diagnosed, I had barely told anyone before I was diagnosed, because if I was wrong, I was like, oh god, like people were attacking me on the internet, or they would have been, and like even some people in my closer life, I felt like we're not necessarily going to be chill with it if I like didn't have proof. So, and all that stuff, like, in my opinion, so dumb, because so many people don't have access to healthcare like that. Even for me, like I am pretty well off, and that shit was difficult. Like, oh my god, like, you do not understand how expensive and time consuming and how much of this shit you have to do on your own, because professionals just simply don't care enough to like add those hours to their bill and just do the research with you. Like, I mean, some of them did, thank God, like near the end. That's how I was able to get diagnosed, because like I got a trauma specialist, and I like was working specifically with her about like in-depth things for a long time before I actually got diagnosed. And like, bro, like, I'm not religious, but she was sent from God, bro. Like, it was good times. I mean, honestly, that was rough too, because mental health, but it was good in the end. Overall, in general, the process, rough. I'm so sorry for anyone who has to go through that or something similar. Like, bro. But telling people after that was interesting, to say the least. More so, I would kind of tell people, I had the luxury of telling people about my long distance boyfriend because it wasn't gonna affect him at all. So I would just be like, oh yeah, my boyfriend has CID, and I'd be able to like kind of gauge their response from that. And then that was good. And honestly, if you gotta like make up some random internet friend to see how people are responding to things and keep yourself safe, like, do what you gotta do, bro. Like, first of all, how are they gonna find out? And secondly, like, this is safety. This is the real world. You think you know people, but it's crazy. I will say, unfortunately, that some of the friends that I actually originally was getting the most help from about it, I still don't know exactly what happened, but those friendships ended partially because of the fact that I was like working towards a diagnosis. Honestly, I couldn't tell you exactly if that's the case, because I haven't spoken to them and got it from their mouths. Sorry. Telling people, I would definitely kind of go about it gently and slowly and with a plan, because if you're gonna tell someone, they're probably gonna have questions, unless they're like ultra chill and they're just like, oh, okay, well, let me know if you need anything. Like, that's like the best answer. Like, epic. You get a gold star for friendship. But sometimes they'll be like, oh, really, what's that? Or like, oh, like, are you sure? Which is like, bruh, don't ask people that. Like, if they tell you something's happening in their life, don't question their ideas about it. I mean, you can ask them questions about it, but don't be like, are you sure? Like, do you really know what's going on in your own life when you're coming to me and telling me about it? Which I assume means that you've figured it out, because that's what it usually means. Like, yeah, just don't do that. But for the most part, that's kind of what would happen in an ideal situation, a non-dangerous situation. Unfortunately, things can go more along the route of, oh, no, like, people just like shutting it down or even getting angry. And in those situations, I would definitely, if you are not sure how someone's gonna react to news like this, I would definitely try to do it in a space that you feel safe, that you can leave, or that they can leave, or that's in public even, or just over the phone even. Like keep yourself safe, people. That is top priority. Like, and even safe mentally. Like, if you think that this is gonna give you a panic attack, just give them a call or send a text, for God's sake. Like, it really isn't their business in the first place. Like, this is your business, this is your mental health. You get the opportunity to decide exactly how you want to go about this. And if you didn't get that opportunity because someone took it away from you, I am so sorry, because that sucks ass. As far as telling family members, what I did was, I was actually across the country from my parents at the time I got diagnosed. So my mom, I had brought up the situation to my mom when I was doing the research, because my mom and we've had some issues, but we have been working through them, and just in general, I trust my mom to not like throw me out on the street. When I first brought it up, she didn't really know what that all meant. She actually was one of the most supportive people about it, to be honest, which is not what I expected, because she doesn't know that much about mental health. But I think since she had known me for so long, I think that she kind of could see how that could be a possibility. I mentioned it, I brought it up that I was looking into it to her first, and she was like, oh, that's interesting. We were in a Target, and I was just like, Mom, so you know DID, that thing that my boyfriend has where you have like multiple alters in your brain? And she was like, kind of, what about it? And I was like, so I'm thinking that might be me. And she was like, oh, okay, well, I'm trying to remember, because this was mostly a conversation with Nova. I just remember she wasn't like upset. She was just like, well, I'm not sure about the whole trauma aspect, because of course no parent wants to believe that they like hurt their own child if they're a good parent. If your parents want to hurt you, like, no, that's not good. Please get somewhere safe. Yeah, so I told my mom. She was for the most part chill, although she did end up doing a slight bit of gaslighting. It wasn't okay, it could have been better, but I mean, it wasn't bad. I'm not like upset with her, like, she is chilling. When I told my dad, he was pretty supportive, but he didn't know what was going on, and he didn't know what that was, because I didn't really talk to him that much about my ex-boyfriend and things like that. So I sent him a few videos, but in general, he was just like, okay, well, go talk to your therapist. And I was like, yep, that's what I'm doing. You know, just learning curves and things like that. That's honestly gonna be a lot of people's ideas. Like, when you tell people about something that they don't understand and have not experienced, they're probably not gonna get it right away. I mean, I wouldn't try to demand like everything all up front. Just be like, hey, eventually I hope maybe you can see like which alters are there and potentially call them by their names. Or if you don't want that, then you can just be like, just call me this all the time, and if there's a different person there, then that's what it is, but don't bring attention to it. Or whatever you want to happen, just let them know gently that eventually this should be happening. But I would give them a little bit of a curve to try and figure that out, because it is new, not only to like them as knowing you, but also to a lot of people, they don't even know it exists. So, you know, just be nice, be kind, but don't let yourself get walked all over, because that's a whole different thing. Like, if you told people about this like months ago or even years ago, I know some people will just like let it go for like a long time and they haven't even made any progress at all or even tried. Like, let them know, bro. I mean, of course, again, keep yourself safe. Don't do anything that's gonna jeopardize your health and safety. But like, it can't be that hard to just like be accepting. Like, I don't know, bro. This stuff gets into way too much political stuff to like add to this video, but try your best to just have civilized conversations, and it should be fine, hopefully. And if you don't feel comfortable telling someone, you do not have to tell them. And if you don't feel comfortable telling them the specifics about it, then you can just say, hey, I have DID. That's all I'm going to tell you. And if they don't have to, if they ask questions, you don't have to answer. Like, that is your decision. It is your mental health. It is inside your brain. And if it's impacting them, it's kind of a them problem, to be honest. Like, it's kind of a take it or leave it situation. Of course, try to be a healthy person and, like, try to do things to make your brain work in a functional way in society, if you can. But, like, because it's just going to be, like, easier for everyone if people can get on the right track, you know what I mean? But I'm not saying, like, you have to, like, completely mask all the time. Like, if your alter wants to be out and be themselves, and, like, they're not causing specific problems, like fights or, like, not doing any tasks or things like that, then, like, nobody needs to care. Like, it is not their business. It is your business, and that alter's business and your system's business. On that same note, though, system responsibility is a huge thing and a very important thing. So if your alters are doing things, or if you are doing things that is impacting the entire system and the relationships within the system or externally, and you are not taking responsibility for what's going on that the body has done, then that's not cool. You gotta, like, it's still your body. Like, if you, like, have an alter that steals a car and you get caught, like, y'all are all going to jail. I'm sorry. That's just how it works. A lot of people don't give a shit about system responsibility, and that's not good, because someone's gotta be responsible for bad things that happen. And you can't just say, oh, sorry, my alter did it. Like, it'd be like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean for this to happen, but I will take care of it and make sure it never does again. And potentially, hopefully, you can fix the situation with whoever was hurt or wronged. As far as how to actually tell people about it, usually something along the lines of, hi, I have been doing research, or I have been seeing a professional, and I think, or we think, that I might be part of a system, or I have DID. Do you know what that is? And if you know they already know, then you can be like, do you have any questions? I wouldn't say anything along the lines of, like, is that okay? Because it's not their decision. This is just a fact. They cannot do anything about it. So, other than help you or hurt you. You shouldn't give them the option to be like, oh, that's not good. Like, you have to fix that. Because you can't. Like, it's just kind of is what it is. You can heal, of course. You can grow. But, you know, it's not like that. I wouldn't recommend lying to anyone if they're asking you questions. But, like I said, do what you have to do to keep yourself safe. I would definitely have some system boundaries before you go into a conversation like that. For example, are you going to tell people the names of littles? Are you going to let people know about your triggers, which I don't really recommend unless it's, like, kind of something well known, that like well known by the people around you, or if you're for sure that this person is going to help you and not try to use them against you. But either way, just be careful what you tell people. Be careful how much you give away about how your brain works, because people can use that to their advantage, and that's not something you want to have to deal with. And if you don't have control over, like, how your system functions, or if you have a lot of amnesia, then that can get kind of scary. So I would recommend just playing it safe, but don't be ashamed. You don't have to hide yourself from the world, and your alters don't either. So you're always going to be loved by someone out there, and if that someone is me, then that someone is me. Just let me know, and I will welcome you into my little community here. Big hug. But yeah, so just be careful out there, guys. Let me know if you need any other advice. Let me know if this video was helpful by clicking the thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't, because I will be making more content like this. And if you haven't seen my TikTok, you should definitely go check that out, because I look pretty hot on there sometimes. So yeah, plus I give helpful advice. At least I think it's helpful. You should check out for yourself and decide and comment, because then I'll get more views and more people can decide if it's helpful to them. So I hope you guys have a great night. It is currently way too late for me here. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.